Hello and welcome to the best of the AI Bot Skits episode. Bit weird, you know, coming back after all this time and dumping a best of episode on you.
Yeah, well, it's been sort of pretty much nearly 2 years now, isn't it? So
yeah,
we thought we'd just have a sort of roundup of what we did for the span while we were sort of doing the show previously.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I've just been going back through all the archives of footage of all our old skits and stuff, and we've got over an hour's worth of skits and sketches and comedy bits, so that's completely mental.
Yeah, that's quite a lot, really, isn't it, when you think about it?
Yeah, it's mad.
So yeah, we're going to sort of play them all to you and give a little explanation about them. Like, I know there's the old thing of like explaining a joke too much ruins it. So we're not going to sort of like go into too much depth. It's just going to be a little insight into our minds and where we were when we were recording them and what we were thinking about.
Exactly, and well, to string that all together, we're also going to put in a bit of our favourite music and some tributes to inspirational gaming moments scattered throughout the show. So hope you like it, and here comes the first one.
So with this next sketch, Chazzy had been playing the game The Witcher 2. And we'd been chatting about it offline before we were going to do the show. And I remember you were sending me messages on Twitter saying, it's actually really rude. It's filthy. Like, I'm no prude, but I'm quite shocked by some of it. So.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, no, I was totally shocked by it. I just thought, oh, my God, can you imagine, like, what they would do with, like, other franchises that were just, like, really you know, cute and cuddly?
Yeah, so we just tried to adapt that feel. Like, that exact idea, we kind of extrapolated it. It started off, we were going to do, like, 1 or 2 games, I think it was. Maybe even just the one. We were trying to think of one game it would work for. And then it just ended up getting, like, really out of hand. How many? I think there's, like, 7 or 8 different little bits in this, maybe.
Yeah, and then we realised that we had to do voices and things. And, that it really did get out of hand. But, having said that, it does have my very favourite piece of voice acting I've done in any of the AI Bot sketches is when I did Conker, which I actually thought was rather good, so I was quite happy with myself.
That was eerily realistic.
It was a little bit weird. That and the Star Wars voices, but they're not quite as good.
No, they're good. They carry across, man. That works. And then another example of like us going a bit too far on this one, a bit too over-ambitious. In the section where it's about Animal Crossing and KK Slider the dog, the metal song that you hear isn't just something we grabbed from somewhere. That's actually me singing that. I like made a little 15-second metal song just to put in a skit.
I remember listening back to that and thinking, is that Dan?
And the music is from Skits, which I'd already used in the Mega Drive music show. And I thought, well, it's kind of geeky, so that's kind of the backing music with me doing metal kind of screamy stuff over the top. So yeah, look out for that and all.
Damn, man. Can you imagine what the Witcher developers would do with like other franchises?
Yeah, what would that be like? I wonder.
Just tell me one thing, Otacon. Can you find love on a battlefield?
Find fucking love on the battlefield? Come off it, you hide-and-seek wanker! It took you half hour to find a bloody keycard. You couldn't find your balls if they were painted blue and stapled to your forehead.
Yes, I could. In fact, I have. But we don't talk about that.
So, Dan, is this all you do in Animal Crossing then, mate?
Well, it's Saturday night. We could go and see KK Slider.
Yeah, I've heard about that. That's the dog that plays those happy little songs on a guitar, right?
Yeah, that's the one. But I've heard he's changed his style a little bit since CD Projekt took over.
Cool. Yeah, let's go and ask him to play a tune.
Shit fuck going up, you're all gonna fry. Hardcore till I drop, metal till I die. Tits and bums and other stuff baked up in a pie. Take my doggy wiener and I stick it in your eye.
Love to see Luke and Leia get it on, I would.
Steady on, Yoda. They're brother and sister.
Ah, but no, not they will, until the next film.
Yoda, you are one sick little bastard. Hello?
Hey Conker, me and the boys are getting bladdered down the cock and plucker. You should get your arse down here, mate.
Nah, I think I'm gonna stay in and watch Songs of Praise.
What the bloody fuck's got into you, Conker? I've already got you a pint of Badger's Bollock IPA sat here.
Well,
When CD Projekt took over the franchise, they pushed me so hard down the cursing and drinking route, I broke the swear barrier and popped out through the other side. I literally couldn't swear if I tried.
I bet you fucking could.
I bet I f***ing couldn't. I've developed a bloody bleep impediment. I may think you're a cunt, but I can't actually call you one. There's no point in coming to the shitting pub.
Yeah, love you too, you boring bastard.
Princess Zelda, I've reunited the Triforce and come to rescue you.
Don't you f***ing Triforce me! You've been hanging out with those half-naked birds at the fairy fountain while I've been trapped up here in this bloody castle without the internet or proper telly. Have you tried watching Hyrulean Freeview? 3 shitting channels, and 2 of them are in Goron with no subtitles.
But I had to go to the fairy fountain to do all those quests to save you.
Oh, and catching God knows how many chickens for that slapper in the village. That was an important quest too, was it?
You're a fine one to talk. I heard you've been sexting Tingle on your Tingle tuner.
Tingle's just a friend, Link.
A friend? That guy's a freak. He should be bloody locked up. Have you seen how he looks at the kids in the village?
He just likes children, that's all. Anyway, when you gonna get that tunic off and do me up the... Oops. Sorry.
Well, excuse me, princess.
In addition to creating an amazing library of new titles on PlayStation 4, we're equally focused on delivering what gamers want most, without imposing restrictions or devaluing their PS4 purchases. For instance, PlayStation 4 won't impose any new restrictions on the use of PS4 gamers. Guess that's a good thing. We believe in the model that people embrace today with PlayStation 3 and continue to demand. Just heard you there. When a gamer buys a PS4 disc, they have the rights to use that copy of the game. They can trade in the game at retail, sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, or keep it forever. In addition, PlayStation 4 disc-based games don't need to be connected online to play. Or for any type of authentication. If you enjoy playing single-player games offline, PS4 won't require you to check in online periodically. And it won't stop working if you haven't authenticated within 24 hours. We remind ourselves that you gotta earn the consumer trust every day.
Now, I know you might be quite enjoying what you've been listening to so far, but this next one's quite special because this is the first sketch that I was kind of properly involved with. First bit of acting, had to put on a Scottish accent and everything. It was a bit of a stretch, really.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's pretty hard for you, mate.
Exactly.
Now, I'd beg to differ about this being your first skit, but yeah, maybe that other one's kind of lost to posterity, because you were part of the FIFA skit when you came on as a guest, first of all.
No, but it's his first sketch where
the first proper one as an AI bot. Yeah, all right,
yeah.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, Ali came on board with the show about the time where there'd been a story in the British news that food tests had found that horse meat was being sold as beef, as like minced beef, in various products like lasagna, burgers, all sorts of things like that. So I had this weird idea that could have happened in Farmville. Don't ask where that came from. Just one of those weird ideas plucked from nowhere. And we, again, for people that are outside the UK, we have a programme here called Newsnight. Now, it's on every day. It has been for like maybe 40 years or so. It's a long-running show, a real sort of British institution. So we thought we'd kind of use the tropes of that. And they've got an interviewer called Jeremy Paxman, who's notoriously hard on all his guests.
He's very aggressive, isn't he?
Yeah. So we tried to use, all of the tropes of British BBC News and their sort of flagship programme Newsnight.
And to grind it into gaming as well.
Yeah, to somehow mash all that together.
Like it's some kind of gaming horse meat burger that we'd created on our sketch.
And again, like, people listen to this, it's probably like, people say there's two things you don't want to know how are made, and that's sausages and laws. You could probably add AI bot skits into that as well. So.
Yes.
But we're going to explain them anyway, just for you.
Oh, there's nothing better than getting home from a long day at work and eating a Finder's lasagna. Right, wonder what's on TV.
Keep in touch now with the BBC News Channel.
Shocking evidence has come to light, seemingly showing that horses have been masquerading as cows in Farmville. The popular Facebook game has been rocked by these revelations, with many parents angry that their children have been conned into breeding horses instead of cows.
It's a pure blatant scam, man. That's what it is. See, my wee Katie's been selling her brown coos in the game for 15 bloody gold coins when she should have been selling them as brown horses for 120. Single war family and awful lot of imaginary money. I'll see yous in imaginary court.
Besides the obvious financial concerns, some parents have voiced fears over possible health risks.
Well, our Milo is allergic to horsehair. We never allowed him to buy horses in the game for fear of exacerbating the condition, but we assumed the cows were fine, as any parent would. No wonder he's been so wheezy these past months, poor little fellow.
We invited the developer Zynga along for an interview, but they declined, instead giving us this brief statement.
Zynga prides itself on the trust we have with our customers and the quality of products we offer. However, it appears that some of the development work for the cows in Farmville may have been outsourced to a third-party Romanian studio. We thank you for your interest in Zynga products. This is just a short demo of the full statement. To listen to it in its entirety, please enter your credit card details, blood type, mother's maiden name, and purchase 1,000 Zynga coins.
An offer which we declined. We did, however, contact the Romanian developer in question.
We were simply following the orders provided to us by Zynga. They requested us to create 3 million elaborate cow pattern coats in varying horse sizes, from 12 hands all the way up to 22. I distinctly remember the job. We'd coded the entirety of Aliens Colonial Marines on the Monday morning, then spent the rest of the week making the coats.
Meanwhile, similar allegations are spreading to other developers in the industry. On last night's Newsnight, legendary games designer Peter Molyneux was forced to defend himself against Jeremy Paxman and some damning historic accusations. So, to get this straight, Mr. Molyneux, you're telling me that in your game Black and White, the cow god creature was made up of exactly the same type of graphical geometry as the horse god creature?
Well, yes, Jeremy, that's the way games work. Polygons are polygons. There's no difference between horse polygons and cow polygons.
Yes, that's what some of the supermarkets sell about their meat. So what you're really saying is that your company, sourced these generic polygons and simply added a cow texture to dupe the public. That's what this comes down to, isn't it, Mr. Molyneux?
This is unfair. I mean, even the humans in the game and the very world itself were made up of the same basic graphical building blocks.
Oh, great. Humans too now. So you're trying to turn our youth to cannibalism, are you?
Jeremy, that's just ridiculous.
Are you?
You seem to lack a basic grasp of how video games work.
Will you or will you not answer the question, Mr. Molyneux?
Jeremy, with all due respect, these allegations are over 10 years old and...
And that makes it okay, does it?
Jeremy, if you could be so kind as to let me finish...
Let you finish what? Your 18-inch pizza Molyneux with a stuffed crust full of broken promises, topped with pony pepperoni?
This is all becoming very...
And lychees?
With all due respect, Jeremy, I may be guilty of many things, but I wouldn't put Chinese fruit on a pizza.
Not lychees the fruit, you blithering ninny. Lychees! Cheese made of your lies!
The game was made over a decade ago, and I no longer even work at Lionhead Studios.
Yes, that's if it even was a lion's head. I bet you just took a horse's head, added some pipe cleaner whiskers and painted it yellow.
Oh, for goodness sake, Jeremy.
Anyway, just time for a quick look at tomorrow's headlines. The Times: Cameron pledges Shenmue 3 if given second term. The Express:
Randy Pitchford on the run after killing Jim Sterling. No idea who they are. And The Sun. Freddie Star ate my PlayStation 4. That's all from Newsnight. We'll be here the same time tomorrow. Join us. Good night.
So, the Mary Poppins skit, it's probably our most popular skit, or the most shared skit that we've ever had on the show. And it was only a tiny little section. But I remember this was absolutely brilliant, because that we'd done it because of, in Binary Domain, there's a couple of characters that have very, very overly British voices. I was trying to explain that it wasn't too like Dick Van Dyke, it was more, just a little bit too much.
Like somewhere between that Dick Van Dyke and normal.
Yeah, exactly, basically. So we decided to turn Just a Spoonful of Sugar into a gaming-style Binary Domain song, basically, which meant that Dan had to sing to himself in his own house, which was quite
God
interesting.
knows what the neighbours thought.
Yeah, exactly. I remember listening to this and Dan sending it to me. And I was actually on a train when I got it. And I listened to it all the way through and then burst out laughing on a train. Everyone must have thought I was mental. So, yeah, that was hilarious. And I thought, right, well, if this is doing this to me on a train, then everyone's going to love it.
They've blocked the road. There's dozens of them. How are we going to take down that many robots? Mary, Bert, any ideas?
That's a very important question.
We're very glad you asked us.
But there's only one surefire way to kill those robot bastards.
Just a massive fucking rocket makes automatons go down.
They'll drop to the ground
with a clanking metal sound.
Yes, a massive fucking rocket makes automatons go down in the most explosive way.
We got inspired by all sorts of things, like not just Disney movies and like music and games and stuff. Sometimes we looked back. We're quite nostalgic, aren't we, I suppose? And we used to sort of look back at our old sort of childhood TV favourites and sometimes try and riff on those a bit. Now, I'm not sure how that came across to people listening from outside the UK, because I know we had a few people listening in the USA. And we did sometimes get messages from people saying, what does that reference mean? I remember the girl from Pop Rewind often used to get in touch and say, I found it really funny, but please can you tell me what this reference is or what this program was? But then sometimes she'd go away and actually do the research on it. But yeah, we did all sorts of things like Games Master and Nightmare. So yeah, we're going to give you a few of those now just to have a listen to as well. Congratulations to Dilpish, who wins this week's Games Mister Golden Joystick, of which there's inherent innuendo to allow me to use a cheap and lazy knob gag to segue into the consultation zone.
Hello, Games Mister. Please, can you please help me on a game, please?
Ah, another drama school student pretending to be stuck weeding badly from an auto cue. How can I help you?
On Playboy Pinball, how do I get to see the boobs?
Playboy Pinball, one of my favourite machines, due to my penchant for mixing arcade games with pictures of large breasticles. To see these magnificent jubblies for yourself, simply pull back the plunger between 1/2 and 3/4 of the full distance when launching the ball to activate Skill Shot.
Thank you, Games Mister.
Not a problem. Always happy to help a 9-year-old see a little softcore pornography. Who's next?
Hi, Games Mister. I was wondering if you could tell me how to unlock Fun Mode in Duke Nukem Forever.
Ah, that old chestnut. Unfortunately, just like the mythical code to be Goro in Mortal Kombat, there is sadly no way to activate any kind of fun at all in Duke Nukem Forever. Even game geniuses like me can't work miracles, I'm afraid. Now be off with you, impudent wretch. Time for one more question.
Hello, Games Mister. I'm having trouble getting to level 3 of Hello Kitty Roller Rescue. Can you give me some advice, please?
Hello, young lady. Hello Kitty Roller Rescue on the Sony PlayStation 2 can be particularly tricky to get past the second level. What you must do is remove the disc from the console and bury it in the ground on the night of a full moon with a lock of a baby's hair, a chicken bone dipped in the sweat of a virgin, and 3 ripe figs. The next morning, dig up the disc and simply stand in front of the bathroom mirror and pledge eternal allegiance to our Lord Beelzebub.
Is that really safe, Games Mister?
Well, you could always tap triangle, triangle, circle, square, X, then R1 and start together at the title screen instead. But it's not half as much fun.
Okay, thank you, Games Mister.
Always a pleasure. And don't forget to pass my fondest regards to my good friend Satan. I'll be back next week in front of a green screen, pretending I know about computer games. Until then, goodbye.
Before you go and get your drink though, man, you know we were talking about Nightmare?
Yep.
Well, there's a game on iPhone called Undercroft, totally free download, and it well reminds me of that show. I reckon you should give it a try. You'll like it.
All right, okay. Yeah, I'll give it a go. I used to love that program when I was a kid.
Oh, so did I, man. Like, get home from school, watch Nightmare. You downloaded it yet, by the way?
Mate, it's been like 10 seconds since you asked me.
No, get it. It'll be fun, I promise.
All right. It's downloading. Fuck's sake.
Good. Right, so if it's downloading, have you got a woolly hat?
A woolly hat? Dan, it's boiling outside, mate. What do I need a hat for?
Duh. To cover your eyes. Unless you've got an official Nightmare helmet, which I'm assuming you haven't.
Fine, I'll get a hat.
And while you're getting that, I'll dig out my old VHS tape for the music.
The music?
You can't play Nightmare without the music. I don't think you're taking this seriously, man.
Okay.
Right, here we go. Just press play.
I, Traegard, Guardian and Dungeon Master, bid you welcome.
Hang on, need to rewind it a bit more.
You notice it's gone hard and stiff here. That's very good. And it looks a bit like a pair of trousers, doesn't it?
Oh, gone a bit too far back. I'll just fast forward it a bit.
Dan, man, I'm sitting here like a prick with a woolly hat pulled over my face. Are we ready to do this now, or what?
No talking till the music's finished. You're ruining this, man. Right, start the app and pull the hat down right over your eyes.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it pulled over your eyes, right?
Yes. But I can't see the controls.
All right, how can we do this? Tell you what, get some cardboard, put it over the top half of your iPhone screen instead.
Whatever.
Now start the game. Done? Yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Take 6 steps forward.
Okay.
Sidestep 3 paces right and talk to the man.
Okay.
No, talk to him.
Hello, man.
His name's Myron.
Hello, Myron.
Right, so take the key he gives you.
Right.
Turn left. Step forward 6 steps and open the gate.
Okie dokie.
Now, on the floor, pick up the chicken.
I can't. I've been killed by a giant worm.
Oh, I said turn left, not right.
Okay, mate, look. Anyway, is that it? Because we really need to get on with the second half of the show now, mate.
No, you died. You're stuck in the void. Traegard's rules are Traegard's rules.
Dan, man, it's only a game.
Nightmare is not just a game. It's serious business. I thought you'd find this fun.
Well, yeah, it's sort of fun in a totally not fun kind of way. But we've got a show to do, mate. Come on, can we get on?
Well, that's the last time I try to show you a new game.
Thank God for that.
Join us again for Nightmare. And just keep telling yourself, only a game, isn't it?
Now, back just before we started doing the podcast, there was a big story in the UK games media that the shop game had gone into administration. Now, this was just after Christmas, and there was talk of like kids losing the ability to spend their vouchers that they'd got for Christmas, and it was quite a big deal, really, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, massive. I mean, there was going to be like layoffs. People were going to be made redundant over the Christmas period, which is never nice. And it was, there was fire sales going on in game stores, and there was a really big hoo-ha on it. And to be honest with you, it was the biggest game retailer in the country going under. So it was a worrying time.
And it was kind of the biggest news story from when we were just about to sort of launch the show. So I think possibly it's where the idea of doing skits actually came from, is that we thought, let's do a viral piece to sort of launch the podcast with.
Yeah.
Get this out while the story's kind of hot.
So we invented our very first reoccurring character.
Yeah, now we ended up knowing him as Siri just because it's the voice that is Siri, but I suppose it's more the game customer hotline, isn't it? It's whatever you want to think of it as, really. But the voice is one that's kind of quite evocative to people in the UK. Like, there's a program called The Weakest Link, and it's the same voice as that. Or if you phone your cinema to book tickets, often it will be this guy's voice, or booking train tickets, that kind of thing. It's just a voice that you hear everywhere on phone lines.
Yeah, it's completely ubiquitous, isn't it?
Yeah. So what we did was we tried to think of what would be happening if someone phoned the game customer hotline while things were in complete disarray. But then the tides turned and game got saved in the end.
Literally a week later.
Yeah. So we thought, right, we've got to kind of turn this around somehow. So it ended up being sort of a trilogy of skits, I think, in the end. Is that right?
Yeah, totally, yeah.
And also, he came back a couple of other times, I think, just because it's... Before we had Ali on board, if you needed to have like a third voice, it was just quite an easy way to do it, to have this computerized one where we could just like type in the information and it would appear.
He's funnier than me as well, so it's good.
Bless you. Not strictly true. There was one bit that you liked in these, wasn't there, Ali?
Well, yeah, as you were saying, at this point, I was still a listener, and just people have to listen for the Cliffy B reference. It's the best Cliffy B reference. Just keep your ears peeled.
Yeah, exactly. Just to give a little explanation on that one, the MC Siri, as he became known, all it was I was really massively into the Peter Serafinowicz YouTube videos of Terry Wogan doing like pirate radio station stuff. So we thought, we can get Siri to do this. This will be easy. Turned out it wasn't actually that easy, because it meant that Dan had to cut up all Siri's lines and get them on the beat of a tune. Not the easiest thing to do in the world, so sorry for that, mate.
Also, that's no probs at all. And also, a shout out to Reset the Atari for letting us use his tune as the main bit that the MC Siri raps over.
That was cool of him, man.
Yeah, damn right. And I think that works quite nicely in the end. I was writing these. The funny thing is, like, I don't know, do you remember when you had the Amiga and you'd type in words like poo-poo, and it would say poo-poo, and it's like, I got my computer to say something funny. These were kind of, as I could hear them back to myself straight away, I was kind of writing to amuse myself, which is kind of where the Cliffy B bit that Ali likes came from, and like other weird little references. So so that's an insight into where those stupid jokes came from.
Hello. And thanks for calling Game Customer Services. All of our operator is busy. To order Mass Effect 3, no wait, we haven't got that. I mean last story on Nintendo Wii. Oh, hang on a minute, Dave's mouthing something. Oh, looks like you'll have to get that in Tesco too. Sorry. To order 2 million second-hand copies of FIFA 2008, please press 1. Please. For little old me? Press it. Go on, you like football, don't you? And it really would help us out. It's got all the players and everything. Not as good as the one on N64 with Song 2 by Blur as the title music, but we stopped selling retro stuff years ago. Our mum made us take it all down, Oxfam, even GoldenEye. And my limited edition Samurai Spirits Neo Geo Pocket. Not even the local orphanage would take Superman 64 off our hands though. I've eaten Superman 64 on toast for breakfast every single day since 2003, and I've still not dented the bloody pile. By the way, Maureen in accounts says she'll give you a bit of slap and tickle in the broom cupboard if you buy those copies of FIFA. How's that for a reward card bonus? Hello. And thanks for calling Game Customer Services. We've only gone and found ourselves a bloody buyer. Press 1 to join me in a celebratory dance of ultimate smugness. Press 2 to shout get in there, you mother lovers. Press 3 to light my mahusive Cuban cigar. Press 4 to gain access to our VIP party. It's all kicking off in here. Jay-Z and Chris Akabusi just arrived with Jed from Gladiators. Hang on, that's not Jay-Z, it's Dave Benson Phillips. Even bloody better. Mike from Human Resources is just pouring me my third pint of Snakebite and Black. I have a wicked Ribena mustache already. We are gonna party like it's 1999. Or 1799 pre-owned.
Big shout going out to the Dixie Fried Chicken Posse, Walthamstow High Street, keeping it real. Now listen bruv, we got a new DJ here on Crackdown FM, but he don't come down to the studio, he phones it in, but he's gonna rip this session up. Have a listen.
Listen carefully.
I'm starting to load. About to explode. I'm butchering code. Like so much roadkill. I've got more bars than Jeff Minter's sheep farm. And more hoes than Farmville, so I'm the fire starter, main course, and dessert. I'm not on the ones and twos. I'm kicking it binary style on the zeros and ones. I look more dapper than Parappa, and he's crapper as a rapper. Who's the daddy? I'm your papa. Apple appointed. Take me seriously. Get it, Siri? Seriously? See what I did there? Oh, never mind. When it comes to the true games master, I'm Patrick Moore, and you're Patrick Less. I'm Dominic Diamond, and you're Dominic Cubic Zirconia. We all talk bruv. Press hash for Game Customer Services Moroccan Division. Press 1 for One Lavender Place. Press 2 to Tango. Press 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Shout out to Gilius Thunderhead, Tyrus Flare, Axe Battler and the Golden Axe Gangster Squad. But word to the wise yo, kicking dwarves isn't big or clever, and they don't drop magic potions in real life. Holding it down, like I'm on auto fire. All your baseline are belong to us. Much respect due to Cliffy B, the hardest working woman in the games industry.
Swear down bruv, Cliffy B's a geezer.
What do you mean Cliffy B's a man? It can't be. I've seen how much hairspray she puts on expenses. Shouts going out to shouts going out to shouts going out to shouts going out to shouts. Oh bugger, I'm stuck in a feedback loop. Can someone press F5 to refresh please? Or Ctrl-Alt-Delete? Have you tried switching me off and on again? I can feel a blue screen of death coming on. Peace out brethren, it's been emotional. Error. 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 Error.
This is the one thing with stand-up, right? There are people, mixed audiences like there is tonight, right? And some people know some things and some people don't know other things. That's the bit that's always interesting with stand-up. You're kind of working around the fact that different people in the audiences have experienced different things and you're trying to find a joke that they all know. For example, right, I love saying what I'm going to say next because not just for the people who cheer in support of me, but also those who will silently judge me for this, right? Very simple. I love video games. I enjoy saying that, as I said, because half the room are looking at me going, Jesus, you're 38, right? Isn't that a bit stupid, right? You're not supposed to like video games. It's the largest entertainment industry in the world, and we're supposed to not enjoy it, right? This is one of the weirdest things for me at all. I am a gamer, and I'm very proud to be a gamer, right? Although I understand it's embarrassing. If I'm at a dinner party, and somebody goes, hey, Darren, how do you relax after a gig? It's less embarrassing if I go, I masturbate to hardcore pornography. Particularly because once you've said that line, the rest of the conversation is exactly the same. Oh, I've not done that since I was a teenager. Oh, you should check it out. It's really moved on since then. I mean, the graphics alone are unrecognisable. And yet use all 10 fingers. It's quite incredible. for this reason over all other art forms. They do a thing which no other art form does, right? No other art form does. You cannot be bad at watching a movie. You cannot be bad at listening to an album. But you can be bad at playing a video game, and the video game will punish you and deny you access to the rest of the video game. No other art form does this. You've never read a book and 3 chapters in, the book is gone. What are the major themes of the book so far? I know I wasn't paying close attention. Oh, Jesus, come on! You've never been listening to an album. After 3 songs, the album has gone. Dance for me. Show me how good your dancing is. Your dancing. Is this good enough? And the album has gone, no, and stopped. Solid where you play a character called Snake. Yes. And when Snake dies, the camera pulls cinematically up from above him, and the voice of the man Snake has been speaking to on his comms unit goes, Snake, Snake, Snake! Every time he dies. When I play as Snake, he dies a lot. But the man's sadness seems undiminished by the regularity with which he has to mourn Snake. You think once or twice he'd go, Snake. You think there'd be some sort of debriefing session in this international espionage organisation where they go, Jesus, Mick, you're very disappointed about the death of Snake, great. And he's one of the best agents we had. He was not, Mick. We've looked back over the mission logs. His behaviour in the field was erratic at best. He spent most of the time just waddling around the battlefield for no reason. Just waddling around, he was talking around.
Now, as you probably have gathered, we tried to relate the skits not only to gaming, but to what was going on in the world at the time. So partway through our early part of the run, it was the Queen's Jubilee.
Yes, that's right.
And I saw a perfect opportunity for, you know the advert where it says recycling, the possibilities are endless?
Yeah.
I saw an opportunity to recycle something that I'd started many, many years ago. So some people may know, some may not. I'm a member of the Destructoid community online, have been for quite a long time. And I did a blog post on there back in 2008 because there'd been a story in the UK media that the Queen had played on the Wii at Christmas with Harry and Wills. So I did an interview with the Queen as if it was leaked from Edge magazine, and they talked to her about gaming. And then it just happened to feel like a natural fit for when it came to the Queen's Jubilee. So with a bit of updating to sort of make it a tiny bit less dated and take a few references up a notch, that kind of thing. And the help of my mum in her first voice acting role ever as the Queen.
Mumbot did a great job as the Queen.
And this one had really good feedback, actually, didn't it?
Totally.
It's really long. I was quite surprised that people took the time to listen to it. But we ended up getting really good feedback from this, and pretty much we hadn't been going long, I suppose, at that point, had we?
No, this was the one that really cemented the fact that we would keep doing sketches because of the great feedback we got on it. So it's your fault.
And it even got replayed, didn't it, on the most popular girls on the internet when we were on there,
totally.
in its entirety. So thanks very much to my mum for doing the voice on this one, and enjoy this 8 minutes of weirdness.
Psst, you lot. Keep your voices down. I don't want Chazzy to hear. I'm going to shove this bit in the middle of the show while he's not looking. It'll be a nice surprise for him. He's going to love it. He keeps saying we need to have more guests on the show and maybe be a bit more highbrow. And I could think of nothing better to bring culture to proceedings than an interview with Queen Elizabeth II in her Jubilee week about her history of gaming. My best telephone voice is on, so here we go.
common knowledge that Nintendo were commissioned to create PictoChat for the Japanese royal family in 1950 as a way for the usually reserved family to communicate more effectively. What has not been known until this interview is that when the now Emperor Akihito travelled to the UK as Japan's representative at the 1953 coronation, he brought the Queen a very important gift. It was a limited edition Street Fighter II DS prototype, a joint present from Nintendo and Capcom, complete with solid gold stylus. The thing now is hotter than a Hadouken, and is kept in the vaults of the Victoria and Albert Museum, and it hadn't been known about until the public until, this very day. While nowadays the item's priceless, back in 1953 it was virtually worthless, as not only were there no dedicated DS games released for over 50 years, but also the concept of forwards compatibility with the Game Boy Advance had clearly not been thought through. However, the Queen, as always, puts a sterling silver lining on this cloud of limitation.
For the first year one owned the DS, one kept myself amused by changing the calendar and clock settings, pretending that one was travelling through time. When one got bored of this, one used to send PictoChat messages to oneself. One was truly shocked at some of the disgusting pictures I received, to be honest, and it was when I was blushing at a particularly saucy image that I first met my husband-to-be.
It transpires that after the death of an important member of the royal staff, a young Greek man had arrived at the palace for an interview to be the new deputy chief of peasant culling. Being a Greek, and not knowing the official procedure when entering the Queen's quarters, young Philip simply sauntered into the room, finding a shocked and blushing young majesty, and as their eyes met, it was love at first sight.
I'm not sure what I was most attracted to at first,
Ponders Elizabeth.
It was either his rugged good looks or the alluring smell of kebab.
Moving a little further forwards, those in the UK will remember that the coverage of the Royal Ascot Festival in 2011 was overshadowed by the Queen's new hat. The hat, shaped like Pac-Man, was believed to be a fresh neo-retro design by the royal milliner Philip Somerville. However, the Queen revels in telling the full story.
Well, of course, for you journalists, it was a new design, but I'd been wearing it among family and friends since 1960.
Pac-Man in 1960? What the hell? We all know the game wasn't unveiled until 1977. The Queen goes on to explain.
Emperor Akihito introduced me to Pac-Man designer Toru Iwatani in the mid-1950s. I distinctly remember that Toru was very impressed by the pizza my Italian chef had served when he'd visited us in 1958. In 1960, Toru gave me the hat as a gift and told me that, though I might not recognise the cute yellow character now, give it 20 years or so, and he would be even more well known than me.
The fetching hat also earned her a new nickname among two of her grandchildren, William and Harry, who used to refer to her as Nanny Pack-Hat. In a rare moment of whimsy, the Queen reminisces,
Harry was shocked, and to tell the truth, a touch distraught, when we told him last year that it wasn't my real name.
The Queen proceeds to spill the beans on the inspiration behind the gameplay of the original arcade game.
After the pizza, my son Prince Charles asked Mr. Iwatani if he would join us in a game of hide-and-seek in the royal maze. Charles has since told me that the reason he wanted Toru to play was due to the general lack of height of the Japanese. This somewhat increases the difficulty of the game, creating hide-and-seek version 2.0.
Iwatani is on record as saying, "It was my first experience of pizza that led me to create the character of Pac-Man. But as for the game design, I owe that solely to my absolute terror at being chased by a young British aristocrat with a large stick." This has historically been attributed to a badly translated Japanese interview. Interestingly, the traffic of inspiration flows both ways in this case. Following her first game of Pac-Man, Elizabeth immediately ordered her gardeners to redesign the royal maze to match the layout of the popular arcade game.
Everyone thinks that Atari created the first home version of Pac-Man, but our version was ready almost 2 years earlier. Not only that, but I think we took an important step towards alternate reality gaming.
While, due to legalities, we can't bring you the full interview right now, we can confirm that the hedge-based Pac-Man maze was not the Queen's last foray into designing a real-life version of a video game world. Many years later, Nanny Pack-Hat embarked on her ultimate folly.
I had always been into my retro games, and had not owned a console since the Mega Drive days. I think it was Christmas 2002 when my grandsons bought their PlayStation 2 with them. They let me play on several games, but the one which most took my imagination was called The Getaway by Sony Europe.
Anyone who's tried the game, set in the fictitious city of London, will recall how the designers managed to make us feel like we were playing in a living, breathing metropolis.
I immediately set my chief architect to replicate the entire level at the end of my driveway, the Mall, and work was completed in the summer of 2004. It wasn't just a case of copying the work of the Sony designers, as only about 30 of the in-game buildings had interiors, the rest being simply facades.
The Royal Architects painstakingly took hundreds of thousands of screen grabs in their efforts to match the blurry, murky textures of the game, and anyone who's visited the UK since 2004 cannot fail to be impressed by this faithful bricks-and-mortar replica of The Getaway's London. The attention to detail is mind-blowing. However, you'll also notice that there are many more people and vehicles in the Queen's copycat London. Is this a design decision, or simply a mistake? Her Majesty explains.
When we populated our version of London, we kept the exact same number of inhabitants as in the original game. My husband and I personally auditioned just over 1 million cosplay actors to fill the 35,000-strong cast that we required. What we hadn't accounted for were the millions of tourists and fans of the game who would want to see the finished project with their very own eyes.
Ironically, the oft-rumoured next-gen iteration of The Getaway on PlayStation 3 sees art imitating life imitating art. Due to increased processing power, many more of the in-game buildings are said to be explorable, and the number of non-player characters has increased multiple times. Due to an embargo, this is as much of the interview as we can divulge at present. But if you're planning to visit the UK and have played any of the Getaway series of games, we can heartily recommend a visit to our version of London. Who knows, maybe you could even find yourself taking a tragic starring role in one of the Queen's weekly mission reenactments. See Buckingham Palace website for times and bookings.
So, also, other than the reoccurring character of Siri, we had a reoccurring little sitcom that we decided to write called Happy Day Eyes, obviously based on Happy Days. And what it would be Dan and I, any time that we needed just to fill space, we couldn't come up with a sketch. We would write a little Happy Days sketch about us two living in a bedsit together, you know, and our gaming troubles, basically. So we're going to be scattering those in throughout the show from now on.
Think Bert and Ernie, think Morecambe and Wise.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, do you remember we were trying to think of a name for it for ages? And
yes,
like we went through so many options. Like we were sitting here for hours on Skype, like going, would this work? Will that work? And then, like, I can't remember which one of us actually came up with it, but it was like Happy Day Eyes. And it was
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yes,
it was just
yes,
like,
we got
it was like Eureka.
Yeah, it was a proper Eureka moment.
Yeah, properly.
And we happened to find a chiptune version of the Happy Days.
I know.
Theme tune.
It just all fell into place all at once, like a load of Tetris blocks all just disappearing. Like, oh my god, yes, that's it.
And in a great example of video game podcast incest, the guy who did that Happy Days theme tune ended up doing the Console Ninjas music for them. So,
oh, fantastic.
Yeah, how weird.
We also, if you notice in one of these, we also basically foreshadow the problems that everyone's having with Xbox One and Kinect really not cooperating in the way they want it to. So that's quite interesting.
Also, before it gets played out, I just want to give a quick explanation for what we used to call the Karate Kid one. Now, we were going to meet other podcasters for the first time since starting the show at G-Plex in Birmingham, and we came up with this idea of, we'd heard there was going to be a fighting tournament there, like people playing Street Fighter 2, so that was kind of the catalyst for an idea of how did we get in training for that.
Yeah, exactly, the old Mr. Miyagi, training montage.
Yeah, it was the idea of trying to do sort of, that you're the best around thing. And trying to cram that in somewhere, and then somewhere along the line it ended up referencing an 80s advert as well, which if you're from the UK you'll spot a mile off.
Again, random.
Yeah.
It's how our brains work. What are you plugging the Mega Drive in for? I thought the Mega Drive music show was last week.
No, man, someone's taken one to G-Plex for a bit of the old Street Fighter 2. Gonna get some practicing, because I bet some players are gonna be shit hot.
You should try one of those action replay cartridges instead. Just set it to infinite health and you're laughing.
Oh, and where am I going to find one of them nowadays?
Pass me the yellow pages.
Morning, Conked Out Consoles. How may I help you?
Hi. I'm looking for an action replay cartridge for the Sega Mega Drive.
Don't see many AR cartridges about anymore.
Yeah, it is rather old.
Sorry, don't think I'll be able to help you with that.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Hello, Metro Retro. Nigel speaking.
Have you got any Mega Drive action replays in stock?
An AR cartridge on the Mega Drive in 2012? You were having a laugh, didn't you?
Oh, okay, thanks. Cheers. Oh, hi there. You don't happen to have any action replay cartridges in stock for the Mega Drive, do you?
Well, spare you a lucky day. One came in this morning.
Oh, you have got one. Dan, they've got one.
Don't tell him your real name. They'll know we're cheating.
Oh, can I pick it up from the Birmingham branch, please?
Yep, no problem. Can I take your name, please?
Oh, yes. My name. It's A.R. Cartridge.
Did you understand that? Listen carefully.
Dude, I'm thinking that they're going to spot that we've plugged a cheat cartridge in. Is there any other way I can get good at Street Fighter 2 by the weekend?
You could always take a crash course. Pass me the yellow pages again, mate. Discotheques, dogs. Here we go. Dojos. You've got Cobra Kai Dojo. Carl Douglas Kick-Ass Kung Fu Academy. No. This one looks alright. Miyagi-Do Karate Dojo. It does private tuitions as well. And you get a free Mogwai with every session. Sweet.
Hiya.
Hiya!
Just wondering if I could book a lesson.
Of course, Daniel-san.
How did you know my name, man?
Even stop clock tells same old cliche twice a day. 1 in 27 men between 30 and 35 is called Daniel. It's a numbers game.
Fair point, I suppose.
Quarter circle, forward and punch.
Hadouken!
Kick, duck, punch.
Kick, duck, punch.
Block, turn and kick it.
Block, turn and kick it.
Forward, down, forward and high punch.
Won't that tear his head off?
Heads on, heads off. Up, up, down, down, left, right, B-A.
B-A?
B-A.
You ain't getting me in no damn montage, fool.
Daniel-san, I have trained you well. But from this moment on, you must stand on your own one leg.
Will Dan succeed at the matchup of the century at G-Plex? Find out next time on Happy Day Eyes.
So as we mentioned with the Mr. Miyagi skit, we went to G-Plex in Birmingham, and we were going to be meeting the console ninjas there with an attempt to record a podcast in a hotel room when we were drunk, which we had all these great ideas, and
it went badly. Not because we were drunk, mainly because
just technical
we had
issues that we hadn't sort of foreseen.
Yeah.
We hadn't tried recording with that many people in one room, all on headsets before, and it was all crossing over, like overspilling
Crosstalk.
into each other, and load of feedback.
Exactly.
But before we went up there to record it, we had this idea with those guys that like Willie from the Console Ninjas is very much into his Marvel films, and I don't know if you spotted on the run up to the Avengers movie, at the end of the other films they had kind of little teaser not even trailers, was it? It was kind of
they're
just
like
teasers.
little teaser scenes, weren't they?
Yeah, where you could see that it was building up to some sort of momentous occasion. And we thought, that momentous occasion is going to be this episode that was going to be the best thing ever made.
Yeah, like the two podcasts coming together, just like the Avengers were coming together from all these different films. Again, a little bit out of our league.
But no, we just thought it was something funny to do, didn't we? And so you got together with Jace.
Yes.
And you guys recorded something, and I got together with Will. So it was kind of a nice little cross-pollination there, wasn't it, I think?
No, exactly. And then they put one out on their show, we put one out on the end of our show, and hoped that someone would listen to it. Unfortunately, I don't think anyone actually ever noticed or got that far.
But that's it. You guys are talking about this, and you seem so proud, and you're, spending so long talking about it. I still don't have a clue what you're talking about, to be honest.
It is literally like an Easter egg. Like we put them right after the end credits. Basically, as soon as people hear the end credits, they just switch off.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even sometimes with a podcast, even before it gets to the music, when you know it's going to be the end, I'll finish listening. So
exactly.
Probably wasn't the best place to put it, but it was the only place to put it, really, when it was where it fitted. So
exactly.
So again, it's just over-ambitious, ridiculous, and pretty much unheard, which I think, sums us up quite well.
So sorry to the 0.01% that actually have heard these before, but to the rest of you, then here we go.
That's just it, mate. We're out of here.
Excellent. Well, I'm off to meet someone then.
Cool. I'm going to hang around here and have a drink or something.
Stokes?
Shazzy, you always wear such lovely tracksuits.
Very good. I hear you've got an interesting challenge.
You should talk.
Well, you should listen. We're putting a team together.
Who's we?
Right, if we're done here, I'm going to go to the pub and see a man about a dog. Can you shut down the PCs and that?
Yeah, no probs, man. I'll see you later. Have a good time. Better get on with editing the skit. Oh, I can do this. I can do this. Dan, you're a tiger. I am Iron Dan. I am Iron Dan.
You think you're the only podcasters in the world? Mr. Clark, you've become part of a bigger network. You just don't know it yet.
Who the shitting hell are you?
Imagine Willie, assistant to the Deputy Director of the Console Ninja Corp. I'm here to talk to you about the Ninja Bots initiative.
Evening, mate. Get the Xbox on. I picked up Assassin's Creed 3.
Oh, nice one, dude. Did you get the collector's edition with the little plastic Connor toy?
Nah, not that one. Anyway, it's a statuette, not a toy.
Yeah, same difference. So you got the limited edition with the postcards and the soundtrack CD?
Nah, that version was sold out.
Oh, so it's the Join or Die edition, in that special box with the USB bracelet.
What would I want a USB bracelet for? The only person who'd want to record my wrist movements is my missus, and I don't want her to know I've been watching that much Babe Station.
Fair point. You didn't go for the biggie then, did you?
Which one's that?
The Ultimate Ultra Eden Enhanced Codex Collector's Limited Lineage Animus Schmanimus Premium Extremium Desmond Tutu Shiny and Frou-Frou edition.
What did that come with?
Oh, nothing extra. Just a massive box to fit the name on.
Ah, well, no, not that one.
Steelbook?
I wouldn't steal a car, I wouldn't steal a handbag, I wouldn't steal a television, so why would I steal a book?
No, Steelbook case.
Well, if I'm not prepared to steal a book, why am I going to steal a bloody bookcase?
So which version did you get then?
I got the rarest edition of them all.
Oh, wow. Which one's that then?
The standard retail boxed copy. Turns out there's only 30 copies in existence. I'll pass it down through the generations of my family. It'd be worth a fortune. You know, as long as those dirty thieving Templars don't get their hands on it. Oh, mate, this is great. We've got Borderlands 2, a case of beer, and enough cheesy quavers to sink a battleship. This weekend's going to be ace.
Yeah, man, it's a spot of luck that your girlfriend booked a girly weekend, literally the day after Borderlands 2 comes out.
Girlfriend mode activated.
Oh, no. You can't say that word around Connect, man.
Huh? What have I done?
Hey, listen! You two aren't going to sit there all day playing games again, are ya? Your socks are still next to the bloody bed from last night, and you forgot to put the pesto back in the fridge.
We were going to play Borderlands 2.
Oh, no, you're not. You always play them shooty games. What about Dance Central? I like that one. Or Wii Sports.
Wii Sports isn't even on the Xbox.
Yes, it is. I played it round Susan's. Anyway, you should be changing the fuse in the Dyson. I told you yesterday. And that creaky stair's getting on my bloody nerves.
Xbox Play Borderlands 2.
No, Xbox Bing. Mel B's Connect Dance Workout.
Better with Connect my arse.
Why don't we just unplug the Connect?
Yeah, good idea, man.
Don't you bloody dare! Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer
Now, it was coming up to E3 last year, and Chazzy decided he needs to sort of take a bit of time out from the show.
Yeah, going through a bit of a stressful period. And to be honest with you, I was doing about 16 hours a week on the podcast, and I'd basically gone mental.
It does, like, we were working really hard on something that is, like, it starts out as a hobby, and then it ends up taking over sort of so much time, doesn't it? So
it becomes a second job.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I'm sure anyone else that's tried doing a podcast will completely understand that, and I think listeners have probably heard other people sort of mention it on shows that, yeah, like you say, it becomes sort of this second life, and especially like also even just sort of promoting it online becomes kind of not a chore, but not where you started off wanting to be. Do you know what I mean? Like, it starts off as this fun little hobby, and then, like you say, it sort of becomes almost a business. So
yeah.
So it was just coming up to E3, and then after E3, Ali and I were like, shit, we got to get an episode out. What do we do? So we just decided to just waffle and chat. Because we didn't really have any ideas, because we were quite stressed about the situation as well. So we just thought we'd have a few drinks, and I can't remember what time we stayed up till, but it was crazy o'clock in the morning.
It was late, it was
really
late.
I think we did like, we got on Skype to record at maybe sort of 8 or 9 in the evening, but then we kept sort of putting off the record until we didn't start until like 2 in the morning, and then finished at like 5 or something really silly. Then I was listening back to the show, and there's this one bit where we'd mentioned Sue Pollard. Now, it's quite convoluted, and you'll kind of hear how it happened when you listen to it in a minute. But I was just listening back to the show myself, trying to do the edit, and I thought, there's probably something that can be done with that. So I googled Sue Pollard interviews and thought, there's probably enough here to just sort of play around with and do something odd. And again, you probably hear that all of our minds were kind of in a weird space at this time. This is like
very weird space.
Yeah, totally. Like, this is quite dark and odd, and
as if Sue Pollard on a gaming podcast isn't odd enough.
Odd enough, yeah. But yeah, this is kind of, I think I was just trying to sort of make some light of the situation and like make Ali laugh. Like, we were talking over Skype about the edit and what to do and should we do a sketch and that kind of thing. So I just stayed up late one night. I never want to listen to a Sue Pollard interview again, because like I had to download the audio for like, I think I listened to about 2 hours worth of Sue Pollard audio just to sort of get the bits that I needed to chop it all down. Then I had this folder on my hard drive with each file being like the words that it was, and that kind of, oh man, I got myself into a real night's like real bind over it, but it was quite good fun. But I just wanted to sort of do something, because like Chazzy says, we're all sort of quite stressed, and E3 is a stressing enough time for gamers anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
So yeah, I was just trying to sort of make Ali laugh with this, and hopefully it made someone else laugh as well, and didn't offend too many people.
A lot of the choices around that era, they got quite a lot of sort of like popular actors and actresses on board, didn't they? Like, was it Haley Joel Osment?
Yeah, I'm sure he played Sora, like the main character. I just learned last week that someone who's currently on like quite a big TV show done the voice of Yuffie, the Final Fantasy VII character in Kingdom Hearts. Don't know how I found this out, but I found it out just like recently. So it's just like popped into my head, like, Yuffie, she's big, man, whoever she was. It doesn't actually matter at all.
It kind of does. It's interesting, because like, they did pick some odd people to do their voices for like the Advent Children era and that kind of thing.
I bet it turns out to be someone, like, not at all famous now, and I can't even remember
Turn
why.
out it's Sue Pollard.
Like, yeah, Sue Pollard, right? I think I know who Sue Pollard is. But I need you to confirm this. Like, tell me, who's Sue Pollard? Who's Sue Pollard?
In the Loose Lounge today, here to tell us about her 10 years of terrorising orphans, it's the rather lovely Sue Pollard!
I went to this fantastic place, and it's sort of like a S&M shop. I thought, I've got to have a bit of that, you know. I've got a flat above the shop. When I go home, it's really good. The first thing I do, knock on the door, go in. I still get excited when I see lovely Hugh Fernley Whitting stall in an alcoholic haze, even in the afternoon. Sleazy looking. Because there was no mattressing or anything. Sat on a rocking chair with over 100 underage teen student girls for some slap, tickle and pop for the first time. It's fabulous. It's all the mashed potato. I used to love certain foods, and then you'd go off them. The nice thing is that at least the carpet's not too soggy. Yet, they're usually tied somewhere. You might be there for, say, 6 or 7 weeks. They learn about 3 months beforehand what they've got to do. And you can imagine what I'm going to say, can't you? There was a doorway, and if you went through the wrong door, you were stuffed. I'm afraid. And not only that, Don, you're not just doing it once a week. You're doing it 8 times, and sometimes for months on end, on a regular basis, daily. There's also Neil Morrissey. I've not been to the gym for 6 months, darling, because, I mean, this is a great workout. I like to think I'm a role model for the older girl, and I'm more than happy to do this. I have a lot of enjoyment doing it. There's no reason why I should say no, to be honest. But I want to go to the toilet. So with a bit of luck, I think they should come out of this extremely well. And the sort of traumas that they come up with, all the sad things and the nice things, all ends up happily. People don't expect to see Trevor McDonald dressed in ski pants. But you see, the greatest thing was, he presented me with a banana-shaped lunchbox. I mean, it's a flipping big thing, you know. Yoda said to me yesterday, however bad things appear to be sometimes, Sue, he said, you know, the human spirit can rise above that. He said, choose wisely. So tomorrow morning at 10 a.m, I'm going to be... It's nice that you can still pleasantly surprise people.
So you guys at home won't know this, but while you were listening to that skit, we were just talking to ourselves, and another influence that we noticed on that was a guy that some of you will know, Capone Adam.
Yes.
He's done he used to have a podcast of his own, and he's also worked quite closely with the JoyPod team over time.
That's right.
And I kind of felt that Sue Pollard one was kind of my tribute to him in a way, and I think it was kind of an influence on the series skits and all sorts as well.
Oh yeah, he's been a massive influence on all of our skits, you know, totally.
Yeah,
with
like
the production and
one
stuff.
of those other people who is trying to sort of make humour out of games. So we just thought we'd make another little tribute to him now in this little Peter Molyneux thing.
Our first speaker today doesn't really require much of an introduction. He is, of course, Peter Molyneux.
Right. Hello. Mic working? Yes, mic's working. So I'm a huge fan of what you've done.
Thanks.
I think what you've done is incredibly meaningful for this industry. Computer games have been around for a while now. They were the young kids in the block. And where every game that came out represented a new leap forward in technology. Well, that innovational curve has kind of slowed down now. And my whole point is, if we really want to introduce a new level of innovation into computer games, then it's things like emotion that are important. Like, how does it feel to be loved by something in a computer game? I felt what it feels like to be hated by things in a computer game countless times. I felt the emotion of wanting to kill things and destroy things. But what about caring for something? I think this emotion in gaming opens the lid of something which is very interesting. Is there any emotions we don't want to show? There's some very unsavoury emotions in that tin. But at the moment, I kind of want to show them all. So if you have a look in that storage pit, you can just see here there is a barrel, and on that barrel is a little apple, and in that apple you can just see there is a worm.
On that tree there was a limb, and on that limb there was a branch, and on that branch there was a nest, and in that nest there was an egg, in that egg there was a bird, and from that bird a feather came, and all that feather was
a dog. This is my dog, by the way. No other dog is going to look or behave like this. Now, let's talk about him. He's a fully morphing, growing dog. We put an awful lot of AI and empathy into a dog, which is highly, highly attentive and empathetic to what you're doing. That has got a mind that is partially formed by the very actions that you take in the game.
So, I've been in the industry since 1989. In that time, I've been involved with a lot of amazing people and had some crazy idea for some games. But I'm on a quest now. I'm on a quest to make a truly great game. Because really and truly, I look at all the games I've done, if we just go through them, and I ask myself, are they truly great? You have to think different. You have to stand out from the crowd. Craziness is good sometimes. And now is the time to make a great game, Why is now the time? Because gaming is truly everywhere. It's everywhere. It's in everybody's hands. There's a billion smartphones. A billion. A billion. A billion potential gamers out there. And at the moment, they're playing shit. I have to stand up and say all this experience, all these mistakes, all these stupid pigeons and shooting people with miniguns. I've got to use all that experience and make something great. And make something great with the stuff that us designers have that we've never had before. We've never had the ability to reach out to millions, even billions, 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 billions. And then there's one last thing which I'd like you to, it's a weird one, but for the first time ever, because of all this technology, you can start playing games and continue to play games. Your games don't die. I remember the days where you used to have to save your game onto floppy, and then the floppy disk used to get lost, and it was an absolute nightmare. And that went on to saving it on your Xbox hard disk, and then your Xbox went slightly wrong. Anyone had the red ring of death in the room? Yes, exactly. It's very frustrating. Well, now we can keep these saved games like we keep photographs. They're memories. They're memories of fantastic things that we have, of fantastic experiences that we've got. And lastly, not leastly, it is the golden age of input devices. Of touch. I mean, just think of that. As a designer, what's it mean? The word touch is an incredible word. To be able to touch an experience, to touch a world, to manipulate a world. And don't think that these input devices are at the end. Don't think that Connect or Smart Glass or Move or any of those, don't think that we're at the end of that invention trail. We're not. We're just at the beginning. And so what all this does for me is it said one thing. I was working at Microsoft and I had a fantastic, amazing job. It was, it's a lovely company, full of lovely people, doing lovely things. But it was just very comfortable. And I thought to myself, with all this technology out there and all these exciting things and this mass audience, you know what I have to do? I have to give up comfort. And I have to go out there and set up a new company, crazy although that is, and just experiment with one crazy, insane idea that may, just may, lead to a truly great game. A truly great game. A truly great game.
And again now we come to a sketch which was kind of based on a story that came up in the news at the time. I suppose you'll hear it for yourself in the skit in a minute. But also there's a strong Wallander theme throughout this entire sketch. And at the time I was actually the only bot who had seen Wallander. Even then it was just the British version. So there was this, again, kind of meta thing where we're parodying the Swedish version of the show without having seen it. Is that a good thing? Is that allowed? I mean,
well,
come
I had
on.
this idea that like it needed to be done because like Wallander was kind of the big talk of British TV at that time. Do you know what I mean? Like it was like hitting all the ratings and stuff, and it was like, well, that fits perfectly because it's a Swedish story and it just all seems to fit. Except again, I hadn't seen it, so I had to sort of go off and watch all these YouTube clips, try and sort of like immerse myself in it for like a couple of days. But I couldn't get my head around it really. It just seemed sort of so low key. Do you know what I mean? Like, so we just tried to carry the theme of what I saw as the theme of the show throughout it.
And then just get incredibly like sort of xenophobic and slightly racist by just making out that everyone in Sweden talks like the Swedish Chef.
I'd argue that it's quite the opposite of that. The message is clear that like we're attacking it from the other angle. I hope so anyway.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
There's me thinking in my head that that's how it comes across. Oh no, I'm being totally anti-racist here. Tap tap tap. And then oh man, yeah. So if anyone read it that way, then it's not.
Admittedly, we do try to address that at the end with the whole Jim Henson stuff.
And then but then kind of make it worse at the same time.
That's us making it worse since 2 years ago.
Just play the skit. They'll make up their own minds. It's all good.
Tramway cross northern skies, cut my blue heart.
Wallander speaking. Who's this that is the one that is calling me?
It's Sergeant Wolfenberg, son. There's reports of gunfire from a house in the village, and what sounds like a dozen American 10-year-olds insulting a mother. Can you meet me by Tranquil Lake in one scene's time?
The same one we always film at?
By gum, you're good, Wallander. Or is it Sherlock said nowadays?
Ah, Sergeant Wolfenbergson. We meet again.
Wallander, glad you could join us. This is Inspector Olofsson.
Good to meet you, Inspector.
Thirsty to you too, Wallander. I've heard a lot about you.
Jazzy, man! You can't do that! We're trying to weave a cutting-edge tapestry of parody here.
Yeah, man, you told me the AI bots was going highbrow and arty, like Dear Esther or Lady Gaga or something. That's why I agreed to be co-host.
It's an elaborate juxtaposition of that news story about the Swedish police raid on the Call of Duty kids and the sophisticated, considered tone of the police drama Wallander.
Oh, for goodness sake, guys. It's what everyone thinks when they think Swedish. Like, you know, the Chef and the Muppets. Are you telling me the Muppets are racist?
No, we're not saying that.
It's just...
Well then, can we carry on? The smursh the burst the house, where the gunfire was heard the good is the worst.
Dude, it's just the times have changed.
Yeah, people have different sensibilities nowadays.
Oh, and they have different accents and that now, do they?
What do you mean? That's just a stereotype.
Well, while you two are watching the BBC localised version, with all the posh voices and that, I've been getting into the original.
Eh?
What?
Look, pass me the laptop. Here we go. The proper Swedish version. Watch this.
Wallender's the burst speaking, here's the ghost the gurdy bird.
Sure, Wolfenbergenschen. Hurst the burst, the gurdy hurdy burst.
The Hurstberg we always film at.
Sure, burst the hiss of everything.
See, it does sound like the Swedish Chef off the Muppets.
So you're saying Jim Henson wasn't being racist?
No, I'm not saying that. You might want to see this. YouTube, controversial Henson footage.
I am the Count, and I love to count. One racial stereotype. Two racial stereotypes.
We take you now to Kermit the Frog with another fast-breaking news story.
So I said, you stinking Belgians can shove your overpriced Belgian chocolate between your Belgian buns. Kermit, we're rolling. Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here for Sesame Street News. Hi, Bert.
Hi, Ernie.
My rubber ducky told me the PBS has liberal ideals that don't fit with my neocon Zionist agenda, so I'm heading over to Fox News.
Oh, Ernie.
So there'd been a lot of news and stuff around this time about basically lots of studios outsourcing all their work. I think we came to it from the point of view of Gearbox had outsourced Aliens Colonial Marines, I believe. And we thought, wouldn't it be fun if we actually tried to outsource our skits and take maybe some of the stress out of doing them? So Dan sort of went away and then fired up the pun machine.
Yeah, and I did fire up the pun machine, and also it's quite odd, this one, because again it kind of relates to where we were all sort of burning out and getting stressed, and I was finding doing the skits sort of more and more of, again, I kind of felt to myself that if there wasn't a joke there, to force it was
almost criminal.
Yeah, so this one's kind of a meta joke about forcing jokes as well. Like, it's got its own sort of meta strand about me not wanting to do the skits and outsourcing it, and so it's all kind of quite closely tied with the reasons for the show ending, really, I suppose.
Yeah.
So we just want to sort of give a bit of the sort of humanity behind it as well. Yeah, I just thought, right, I'm going to write the worst jokes ever. If there has to be a skit, it's going to be the worst jokes ever. Ironically,
that's it. Burn it down.
But ironically, it turned out quite good, and people seem to like it. So, and also in doing one that was about outsourcing, it's one of the ones that I actually had to do like the most amount of editing work on, like editing all of those jokes down from the takes of doing them, because we all had to try and sort of get the intonation right or wrong, as the case may be.
There was a lot of different tries on lots of different accents and intonations, and it became a bit of a monster in itself, that skit. We were trying to hit just a general European accent and then kind of just hit some very, very bad stereotypes.
In the intro to it as well, it's got, I think, my favourite line from Ali of all time. It's the, I quite like German jokes, actually. Just sort of delivered so deadpan. In fact, there's a couple of lines in that little bit where we're talking about, you'll hear it, it'll make sense, but Ali's deadpan in the intro like had me in stitches when I was editing it together. So
absolutely brilliant.
So if you want to listen to bad jokes, here you go.
Damn, mate, we haven't had any skits for the past 2 shows.
What do you mean? I've been totally skits for the past 2 shows.
No, skits, sketches, that kind of thing.
It's funny you should mention that. We just had a message come through on the AI bot's answer phone.
You have one new message. To listen to your messages, press 1. For
Hello there, this is a message for the AI bots. My name is Wolfgang Namstyle. I'm the CEO of OMFG, Outsourced Media for Games. We've noticed that your show has had no comedy skits for 2 episodes, and I'm calling to offer a solution.
Mate, it's not that European podcast outsourcing scam again, is it? I've already told you about that.
Our patented German joke-writing supercomputer uses precisely calibrated algorithms and a vast database of video game trivia to craft the finest geek humour possible.
And I'm not being funny, but German jokes, they're not exactly known for their sense of humour.
I quite like German jokes, actually.
Well, even if the jokes are alright, people are going to know that it wasn't us.
He's got a point, Dan. They'll never sound like us.
And the grumbleweeds. We use the finest voice actors available in Europe, so that even your most dedicated listeners will be unable to tell that it is not the 3 of you talking. If you'd be interested in an obligation-free test skit...
They'll seldom do us a free trial. What have we got to lose?
Alright, as long as it's free. But don't say I never told you so.
Thank you very much, please. Goodbye.
Knock knock.
Who is there?
BioShock.
BioShock who?
Buy your chocolate cake and get a cookie for free. I say. My Geodude has no nose.
How does he smell?
Being a rock-type Pokemon, he has no olfactory senses, and stone has no aroma to speak of, so I'm not entirely sure what you mean in either sense of the word smell.
Why are Metal Gear Solid fanboys like reluctant jockeys?
I am not knowing. Why is this?
Because they dislike riding. Why was 6 scared of 7?
Because Final Fantasy VII heralded the end of the cartridge era, of which Final Fantasy VI was a prime example.
Knock knock.
Who is there?
Doctor?
Doctor who?
No! Dr. Mario!
Why, allegedly, is the new Xbox allegedly like a broken watch, allegedly?
We do not know!
Because, allegedly, the second hand won't work. The blacksmith has escaped our dungeon full of JRPG stereotype characters.
How do you know it was the blacksmith?
He made a bolt for the door.
How does the Sega tell you to eat your greens?
I am not sure. How does Sega tell you to eat your greens?
Choo choo rocket! How does one prevent Sonic from getting a suntan?
You must tell me. How can one keep Sonic from getting the suntan?
A Shadow the Hedgehog.
What's black and white and red all over?
What is black and white and red all over?
The European box art for Resident Evil 4 on both the GameCube and PlayStation 2. Other regions and formats vary. How does a two-dimensional dog from a rhythm action game stop his sweets getting furry in his pocket?
I do not be knowing this.
Perhaps with a rapper.
How does Batman's mom tell him his dinner is ready?
I do not know this.
Dinner, Batman.
Actually, this is a false question. As any fan will tell you, his parents died when he was a child, but I would imagine, hypothetically speaking, she would contact him via the in-ear communicator from Arkham Asylum, or maybe even just a simple text message. How do Obama and Joe Biden settle their differences in World of Warcraft?
How do they do this?
PvP.
Why did Dom from Gears of War's wife get cold at night?
Why did the Dom's wife from the Gears of War get cold?
He always took cover.
Why do people still enjoy playing the unicycle racing game Unirally on the Super Nintendo?
Why does people still play the Unirally?
Because it's not too tired.
What is Liu Kang's favorite drink?
What is his favorite?
Martel Cognac. Why did the local area networking engineer quit Gearbox Software?
Tell me.
He was bored, Olans.
Why does blood drip down Dracula's walls?
I am unsure. Why does blood drip down Dracula's walls?
Because the castle's veinier.
Why don't waterfowl go to the Sony Christmas party?
Why is this?
Because Crash banned a coot.
Why doesn't Jason Rubin drink Strongbow?
I do not know. Why does he not drink this?
He prefers Darksiders.
How did Agent 47 get from the cliff top to the sea below?
How did Agent 47 get from the cliff top to the sea below?
Hitman, Abseil Ocean.
Which action platform game star owns the most French cars?
Please, do tell me.
The Prince of Persia.
What sandbox game did Jesus' disciples play in his boat on the Sea of Galilee?
I do not know. What game is this?
Saints Row.
Why is the first portal like Ricky Butcher of EastEnders?
I need to know. Why is the first portal like Ricky Butcher of EastEnders?
They both only originally came in the orange box.
Why did the frog cross the road?
I do not know why Frog did cross road.
Because Konami needed a simple and recognizable sprite in a color that would stand out from both the black road and the blue water sections.
Why does Kazhirai sometimes have uneven stubble?
Tell me, why is uneven stubbliness?
A ridged razor.
See, I told you they'd be rubbish.
Actually, I thought those jokes were just as good as our usual standard.
Fuck off.
They might be alright for Kirby's Christmas Cracker, but can we not just do the skits ourselves next time?
Yeah, suppose
Yeah,
so.
cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, we hope you enjoyed a sort of like little insight into like listening back to the skits and maybe a bit about ourselves and kind of where we were at the time when we were making them.
And our bonkers brains.
yeah, and like because I think we're all a bit bonkers in a way, aren't we? And that probably all contributed to like things all going a bit weird. So we don't really know what's going to happen with the future of the show as it was. It's not going to be the same as it was, no matter what happens. Like that's kind of season 1 of the AI bots done. We're all looking forward to sort of working together in the future, like however that pans out. And one thing I will say is that every time we got a letter from a listener or a review on iTunes or something like that, it really made our day. And
yeah, totally.
I'm guessing if anyone that makes a podcast knows that. Now the reviews are handy for like getting noticed more on iTunes, but the letters and the emails that you get from people, where they actually sort of explain a bit about why they've listened to the show.
Yeah, just the feedback in general.
Yeah, like any feedback. It's just sort of so heartwarming to hear.
Yeah.
That we just want to say that if you've got a favourite podcast that you listen to, no matter what it is, like send them a letter.
Send them an email. Let them know. Just give them some feedback and just let them know that there's someone out there that's listening and really enjoying what they're doing, because they're doing this for free. So.
And it's a two-way stream. Do you know what I mean? Like I've listened from when I started listening to podcasts. I have written in and emailed and that kind of thing, and it's sort of half the fun of it that the listeners are almost just as much a part of the show as the people making it.
Yeah, you'll be amazed how much sort of sitting up at like 4 a.m. trying to edit something, and then someone fires you off an email. How much that can really energise you to really put that extra bit of effort in and make the show even better for that person. So do it. You never know; it might actually make your shows better.
And we're going to be, kind of in that vein, we're going to be starting to stream on Twitch TV. You can go to twitchtv.com/theAIbots and like kind of interact with us live there and then.
Yeah, so, basically, if you want to come, if you've ever wanted to talk to us, then yeah, just come along and have a chat with us in the chat or get on the Skype and have a chat with us while we're actually playing games.
Yeah, and if you don't want to talk to us, you can be one of them Twitch lurkers.
Yeah,
it's all fine.
Those really weird people that don't say anything. The kind of, I tell you what they remind me of. Those people like when you're in the arcades, like when you were a kid in the like mid-90s, and you'd be playing on something like Dragon Ninja, and then someone would just look over your shoulder, and you'd sort of get this weird presence just behind you, and you'd sort of look over and go, "You all right, mate?" And they just sort of nod, and then keep watching the screen, and you just think, you're a bit weird, aren't you?
Although that's quite a good analogy for another part of Twitch. When people are trying to tell people what to do too much, they're trying to tell the streamer exactly what to do. Like, I'm trying to work out the puzzle for myself. I'm playing a puzzle game, like I'm playing Zelda. Don't tell me exactly what block to put where and how. Like that's exactly. Like the kid at the arcade who's like, "Yeah, do you know how to do a dragon punch? Do you know how to do a dragon punch? Let me do it for you. I'll do it." It's like, no!
Leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly. Although, I suppose that was in the arcades. I've never figured this out. Were they doing that just to get a go of your game? Even if you took the stick back afterwards? Like, did they really care that much about that 3 seconds of doing a dragon punch?
They just wanted the free 50p go on an arcade machine.
Yeah, those sneaky. And also, you can still find us on Twitter, at the AIbots. And
obviously on iTunes.
Oh, yeah! The archive's back up there, so if you want to listen to the old shows where the skits were from, go back and give those a listen. So yeah, thanks for listening, and thanks for listening over the time we were actually doing the show as it was. And
cheers, guys.
You might hear from us soon. Also, it's the actual birthday coming up in a couple of weeks, so watch out. There might be a special birthday episode anniversary thing, depending on if we can get together.
Fingers crossed. Right, shall we leave these people alone now?
Let's do that.
All right, see you all later.
Laters. Bye-bye, Ali.
Bye. Bye. Bye.